Have you been thinking about quitting your job and starting something completely new? If the answer is yes, you are definitely not alone. Look at what's happening in the world right now. We are seeing mass layoffs, a freeze on venture capital, and managers facing burnout on a global scale. On top of that, McKinsey predicts that generative AI could force 12 million people to switch occupations by the year 2030. The pandemic and the economic volatility that followed it made a lot of us stop and ask, is this what I really want to do? But here's the problem. Even when we yearn for something different, actually making that jump can feel impossible. Why is that? Why do we stay stuck? To answer that, we're going to look at a study conducted by researchers at Harvard Business Review. They surveyed more than 950 professionals to uncover exactly what stops us from changing careers, and more importantly, what actually helps us break through. Part 1. The 5 barriers keeping you stuck. The researchers identified 5 specific barriers that paralyze people. Let's see if you recognize yourself in any of these. Barrier number 1 is not knowing what to do next. This is consistently the top barrier. One participant in the survey described it as the eternal question of how to eat an elephant. It's just too overwhelming to know where to start. When you don't have a clear destination, you feel deficient, like there is something wrong with you for lacking clarity. Barrier number 2, limiting mindsets. This is where fear takes over. People are terrified they won't make enough money, or worse, that they will fail to reach the top of the ladder and feel like a loser. This fear creates a cycle of inaction. You don't move because you're scared, and because you don't move, you lose confidence. As one person admitted, "I am the biggest barrier. I have to get out of my way." Barrier number 3, inadequate networks. Networking is hard enough when you have a job. It is even harder when you are trying to leave one. People worry they don't have a story yet. They think, if I don't know what I want to do, what do I say to people? They struggle to sell their transferable skills and fear blowing a connection because they aren't ready. Barrier number 4, financial constraints. These are very real, especially if you have a family to support. But often, money acts as an untested mental barrier. Here is a great example from the study. A high-profile business journalist dreamed of writing books for a living, but was terrified she wouldn't make enough money. When she actually tested it out, she realized she was capable of doing it, but she also realized she didn't enjoy it as much as she thought she would. That knowledge actually made her happier in her current job. Finally, barrier number 5, lacking the right skills. There is a genuine fear of being obsolete. Executives today worry they don't understand how new technologies, like AI, are transforming their industries. They feel they lack the specific digital skills to pivot, or, conversely, that they might be seen as overqualified for a new role. Part 2. The solution. How to break through. So, those are the walls keeping us in. How do we knock them down? The survey found 5 specific actions that help you navigate this maze. Action 1. Upgrade your networking. You cannot just rely on your usual circle of friends. Sticking to the usual suspects limits your imagination. The data shows that weak ties, distant acquaintances rather than close friends, are the most important factor in job mobility. A study of 20 million LinkedIn users confirmed that these distant connections created millions of new jobs. The antidote to awkwardness is to just do it. It gets easier with practice. Action 2. Acquire new knowledge. You have to close the skills gap. We are seeing a massive trend of older professionals heading back to school or taking evening classes. But it doesn't have to be a full degree. Online platforms like Coursera saw enrollment jump by 23 million students in a single year. Expanding your skills builds the confidence you need to make a move. Action 3. Try things out. If you have a hunch, explore it. Don't quit your job today. Try a temporary assignment, do some freelance advisory work, or start a side project. This creates what researchers call habit discontinuity. Stanford researchers call this experimentation, and it's the only way to truly know if you'd like a new career before you commit. Action 4. Research your options. Sometimes you need to do desk research to get unstuck. There is a great exercise suggested by executive coach Spish Rurak. Try to identify 20 beautiful companies. One consultant tried this. He wanted to move into the corporate sector but realized he couldn't even name 10 companies he liked. This made him realize he actually wanted to remain a consultant, just at a different firm. The research itself gave him the answer. Action 5. Self-reflection. This isn't just sitting in a dark room thinking. It's about developing self-trust, often with the help of a coach. However, introspection works best after you have done some experimentation. It helps you handle the negative emotions and the painful in-between period that comes with any major life transition. Here is the bottom line. The pace of technological change means we can't stand still. Career reinvention is becoming a requirement, not a luxury. Yes, changing careers is hard. The barriers, money, fear, lack of clarity, are intimidating. But as the authors of this study point out, there is no going back to the way things were. We simply have to get better at making transitions. And for those who push through the barriers, most will attest that the prize on the other side is well worth the struggle. If you are feeling stuck, pick one of these 5 actions today. Thanks for watching. If you found this helpful, make sure to subscribe for more insights on navigating the modern business world.